Hey, what's going on, guys? I just got the Lexion Android head unit in. It's the all-in-one unit, which is new, so you don't have that extra box. I'm going to be installing it, and I'm going to try to document it as I'm going along. It comes really well packaged, and this was bought directly from Lexion. It comes with a user manual, wider screen, really well packaged, and then you have this plate too that kind of sits like this on the dash. Here's all the wire harness. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with. You have the microphone. If you need to make calls using the OEM unit, like the software, Android software, then you're gonna need this microphone. If you switch over to the OEM, it'll use the car's OEM microphone, so you don't need it. This is the GPS antenna, optional. This cable is for the video and auxiliaries, and then this harness is really daunting to look at. I'm not going to open it just yet until I get further along in the installation. But essentially you're tapping into the car's wires without having to cut any wires. This is just like a T harness, if you're familiar with doing stereos. Car is a disaster right now. I'm just planning to vacuum it once I'm done with the install. So here's kind of what we're dealing with. I have to clean this up a little bit just so I can get the stuff opened up and get the car radio installed. Essentially, the first step is to remove these two panels. So you have one here, you can kind of see this moving. I've never taken this apart, anything here. All the videos on YouTube fail to mention if they've taken this apart before. This is the first time I'm doing anything with the center console here besides the knob here, the gear shift knob, but everything else I've never touched. So as I do it, I'll kind of know how much force to apply. These nylon tools are very good because they don't dent or scratch. You still want to be careful, but it's not as bad as a screwdriver or something metal. There's a panel on this side and then a panel on that side, so I'm going to do that real quick. Oh my god, it's so easy. Okay, so I went from underneath in case there are scratches, it doesn't show. If you go from here, you might hit, the side there, and it might cause some scratching. So always go from a spot where it's not visible to the naked eye. Came right out. Nothing to it. Maybe like 5 pounds of pressure, not even. So there's 3 screws. One came from, or bolts. One came from here, one came from here, and then this is a screw. And the same is true on the other side as well. So we're just gonna take that out, put it in our handy little tray. Highly recommend something like this so you don't lose any parts. And then this should just pop right out. So I'm gonna use the tool here, and I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, but pry this out. Let me just show you this piece too. You grab it here, and you pull down, and then you just go ahead and twist this off. And put it somewhere safe. Okay, so I've taken both of the side panels off here and the other side as well. On this side, there is a screw underneath. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you align it with the shifter, it's right underneath. You'll see it right there, next to the harness. And then now we can just lift this piece up. So this right here, and then it kind of lifts up in the back and then out this way. There we go. So just popped it out like that. You push down, and you can move it to neutral. Make sure your parking brake is engaged, otherwise you're gonna roll your car into something. Okay, so got this piece. I'm gonna just put this back so we don't lose it. And see what happens. Oh my god, that took way more force than I thought. heated seats, you're gonna have a control here as well. Okay, so just undo this. There's a button right here or a clip. So just push this in and then undo that. And then same with here. And then finally down right here. Okay, so once we got that panel off, just kind of laid it there. You got 2 down there and then 1 on each side. So just gonna do that real quick. Sorry, I pointed the wrong ones. It's these ones. 1, 2, and then 2 on the other side. Takes a lot of force. So I've been trying for 5 minutes and I don't want to break anything, right? But it doesn't come just right out. So you gotta just continue to play with it. There we go. So you do have to put a lot of force onto it. It doesn't just come right out. See what I mean by this shifter here? It's gonna hit, so that's why I put that cloth there. So there's a little tab here, so I'm gonna just lift up gently. You see this ledge, so it's gotta kind of come out at an angle. So once those bolts are out, I'm gonna put my fingers back here and just kind of pull this out like that. And then take your cloth. Probably should have put this in before, but there's metal tabs and I don't want to damage the dash here, so I'm gonna just pull this out, put it like that, undo that, clip here, undo that, maybe there's 3. And then this one, couldn't get this clip out. As you can see, there's 2 pins that, or like a retainer clip that goes in. Couldn't figure out how to get to the, with the nose plier or the needle nose pliers. So I grabbed this and I was able to fit this behind that little gap right there and then pull, and that basically pulled this like this, and then I was able to get it through the hole. So if you can't undo that clip, try like something with a hook if you have it, maybe even like dental floss, the toothpick things, or if you have something like this with an L-shaped tool or metal, just push it back there and then pull. Alright, so this is out now. I'm gonna show you just the back side. This is what it looks like. 2 plugs and then the retainer clip there. On the new screen here, all the plugs are small. What I mean by that is, if you look at this plug, it's skinny. Anything that's wide like this, that's on the OEM car side. So whether it's plugs into here or the car wires, it's OEM style. This one is aftermarket, like these skinnier plugs. So anything like this needs to go into your new unit. So this will plug into the car's harness that's coming in here. See the female plug and the male plug, so this will clip into there. This is the female plug, and then there's male plugs on the back side here, so those will plug in there. So that side is done. So this needs to go up and up through here because it's a smaller plug, so it needs to plug in there. And then this, you can tell by the length it's not going to reach all the way up, right? And anything with this foam insert, I realize it goes to the car plug harness that's coming from the car or the stereo. There's another wire harness that plugs into the back of the aftermarket one. You see the small plug? That one will need to route down gravity will help pull it down, but this one's going to be the tricky one pulling it up. So I'm going to work through getting this back from here up to the top. So I tied a string right here. I'm going to feed this up as far as I can, and then once it's as far up as I can get it, then I'm going to pull this string here, see if I can get it up. So I tried doing it by hand, pushing it up. I just wasn't finding it up there. And then from the bottom, I'm just pushing. So from the top, I'm guiding, and from the bottom, I'm pushing. So you can see what I'm doing behind the dash here. Hopefully that gives you a sense of things I'm trying to do. Yes. Oof. Okay, that's one part through. Now I just gotta get all the other ones through. Success. Whew. Okay, we got it. Let's see if it goes there. Guys, I finally got the wire through. I had to pause for the night and come back the next morning, but I finally got it through. This is probably the hardest thing you're gonna do on this whole install, is getting that wire through and figuring out where it goes, what wire goes where. So essentially this goes into the car plug that's coming from the OEM harness right in here, and then this plugs into your back into your stereo. This wire, one piece goes up here, which is going to plug into the back of your new stereo, or screen I should say. There's another piece that I wasn't sure what to do with it, because there's no plugs down here that have this connection. So I was like, I took all these out, but essentially what you need to do is pull this one up. This has the little camera loop thing on it, and it says for monitor. Let me just see what it says here. It says monitor. So this needs to plug into here. I'll just, matter of fact, let me just do that now. Just like that, you'll hear a nice solid click, and then this you just kind of leave. You don't plug this in anywhere. And then this will plug into the camera here, just like that. This is for aftermarket accessories. If you have another screen, this is a input for that, or a camera, like maybe you have a front-facing camera. So this also, as you can tell, these are the plugs for the new screen. So this plugs into the back of the screen. I'm not gonna lie, putting that wire through the bottom to the top is gonna be the most difficult thing you're gonna have to do. Taking everything apart took me maybe 30 minutes tops, even with recording, but putting that wire through the bottom to the top, it took me 2 hours, 1 hour yesterday, and then I finally called it quits. And then I came back this morning with a game plan. So I was guiding it with my 2 fingers up here, and then I was pushing from underneath. The other thing that helped is these cables kept getting stuck. So I undid it already, but I wrapped the yellow video the yellow cord here, AB cord, and then I wrapped something with it so it stays together and it doesn't get caught on anything. It kept catching like metal pieces like this loop, and this cable kept getting caught. So just do the best you can. It took me over an hour, but if you have questions on how to do it, just post in the comment. I'll give you some more additional tips. If you're looking at the connectors on the back, it's the one right here. So not the one right underneath the black cord there, but this one here. So I undid this. I already plugged it in. Undid this, and then plugged in the one from the harness, and then the one that was in the car. It's this red plug here. There's 2 of them. It's the one on the left, like I mentioned. That will just plug into your new harness. And you'll hear a solid click, just like that. And then we're gonna connect this big connector. Make sure it's in all the way. Make sure it's nice and good. Hold it and then snap this in. I did undo the tape. There's tape holding these wires in. To get a little more leverage, I just took this off so I can get more the wires to move a little bit. And then this will plug into here. Just like that. Pushed in all the way. Nice and loud click there. Here's the other piece I was stuck on. There's another joystick cable, and they don't explain which cable to undo, so I undid all of these trying to figure out where it plugs into. It's the same connector as the audio, and so I was confused. Is it the audio one? It's actually not. This connector is for your joystick or mouse, so this will plug into here, your existing cable, just like that. Hear that nice click, and then this is what's going to plug into your the center console when I put that back in. I don't technically need this, but I'm not going to cut it off. This is for the touchpad, so if you have the touchpad, you'll use this one. If you have the mouse, you'll use that. The one that needs to go to the joystick or the mouse pad, I routed it through the back, routed it from underneath here, underneath this bar, comes out through here, goes left at the gear shifter there, and brings it out to right there. And then I was able to plug that in. Before you put everything back together, it's a good idea to test, so I just plugged this back in, the jog stick for now. We're gonna test plugging these in, make sure everything is working as expected before we start reassembly. Success! Wow, look at that massive screen, man. That is amazing. So I did the test placement for the screen, got everything wired, just kind of leaving it here. The audio wasn't working, so you actually have to go, and I'm not sure why they didn't explain this in the instructions, which it's pretty basic, but you go into the original screen and you go over to media, and then you have to select the source as aux. It can't be Bluetooth, it can't be anything else. It has to be aux. And then you can switch back over to the Android Auto by holding the menu button there.
During parking mode. Motion detection recording.
And that's the rear camera. Perfect.
Event detection recording.
Okay, so I got the wire cleaned up, pushed this back. I ran the antenna through the same spot as the knob control. I just have it sitting here. I'm just gonna coil it up and put it right there. I did zip tie these so it's nice and clean. And the OEM ones are back there. Just kind of push them because there's space, so I kind of pushed it that way. I will need to plug this in. I will need to plug these two in. So it's kind of nice and clean now. So it's just these three plugs that need to go in. So I'm gonna just put these on the new unit. Oh, well, don't do that there. That clip's gone for good, I think. So I couldn't find that clip anywhere. I tried to pull a vent up and I accidentally broke one of the fins. So I'm just gonna leave it. So we got one plug, 2 plugs here and then the blue one and then the GPS. We'll do this one because it's the longest. That one's labeled, so pretty easy to do that. Nice solid click. Pull the cords out as much as I can. Oh, there we go. Lost a couple pieces along the way. Seemed too easy, but I think it's in. We'll find out when I go put the side ones on. Final piece to the puzzle. This came out of an angle. So my battery died. I was almost done. My battery died. So this is after everything is put in. The video ended where I was putting these in. 2 bolts and the 1 screw in the middle on both sides. And then these panels you just slide in and clip back in. That was all that was left. The harness that plugs into the back, the optional one, had the USB, so I routed it down, and through the side there was a slot, so I just kind of pulled it out from that slot, and it's just hanging off the side here. You don't have to put this in if you don't want to, or you could route it through the other side as well, but I didn't want this getting in the way when I'm driving, so I just kind of put it onto the passenger side here. Taking the pieces out and putting them back in is very easy. The wiring is the most difficult part if you're doing this job. So I'm going to make a follow-up video after I've had a few weeks with the stereo and the unit, just so I can kind of play around with it and find out what works and what doesn't, and any settings that need to be tweaked. But overall, I'm loving it. So stay tuned for that future video on my review of the unit. Thank you very much. If you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you.